So we pulled out the guitars, right, as a topic from
Mhm.
the Guy Fieri trash can.
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
Okay, let's start with guitars. Okay.
Unless
Do you want to
unless you
do
wanted
you
to
want to
close with it, but
start with no, let's start the show with some rock and roll. What was your first guitar, Kevin?
my first guitar was a PV. I had like one of those starter sets.
Yeah. I kind of had a starter set, but it wasn't like all packaged together, you
Hmm.
know? It was just the guy at Guitar Center and it was like, "This is how much money I have. Can I get everything?" He's like, "I'll hook you up." Mine was a Squire, like kind of it looked like Telecaster,
Hmm.
but it was a Squire, so it was garbage. But damn, it got me into guitar, so I really appreciate it. Uh, and then, what's your current favorite guitar?
I don't have a lot of options right now.
Mhm.
I own two guitars. I own a Jackson Dinky JS22. It's pretty cheap. It's
Yeah,
yeah. I like the way it plays though. For being so inexpensive, I feel like the quality's pretty decent.
yeah,
Um,
looks nice, looks clean.
yeah. Um,
Do you like those kind of pickups?
yeah, I do.
I
The
have
humbuckers.
yeah, I have like those same kind of like whatever on my Les Paul, and I don't record with it because it just creates there's too a little bit too much buzz,
Hmm.
compared to those ones that are like magnets, like a slab.
Yeah,
I guess they're all magnets, but the ones that are just like a big
yeah.
brick.
I do prefer the brick, the way the aesthetics look on the having the solid
I like it.
brick.
I like
Yeah.
the aesthetics as well. It's crazy that I play guitar for so long and I know so little about the tech side of it, like hardware.
Hmm. Me
I
too.
don't know anything about it. But my 8 string guitar has like the best pickups. And um but here's my favorite guitar. I got this 11 years ago. Um Sorry to everyone out there who's gets triggered by saying things wrong because I don't know how to say it. Takamini. I don't know. I've never known how to say it. I think I've probably said it aloud like 10 times in my life. It's my favorite for a lot of reasons. I think it's really beautiful. Like it's tone, it's color wood. Um, it's got actually a pretty decent little pickup in it. I like the action. It's my go-to daily driver guitar. But what I really like about it is, do you remember when Best Buy briefly was selling musical instruments at some locations?
Yeah.
Like, I was driving home from Swanky's in Cool Springs, Franklin, Tennessee, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna stop in and just kind of play with some guitars a little bit. And it was like kind of like like maybe an hour before closing, and the guy said, "Your timing's really good because this is the last day of this our music instrument program. We're phasing this all out right now, so we have like deep discounts and all this stuff." And this guitar was like crazy cheap for like um this is going somewhere, I promise. This guitar was like crazy cheap, and I was like, wow, it seems really, really nice. And then it was also blemished, so they were able to do like a double discount,
Nice.
and I got it for like I thought it was like a steal, and guess what? It really was because fast forward later, like 10 years later, when I'm a dirtbag and I was like really low on money, I took it to a pawn shop, and they're like, "Oh, this is a great guitar, man. Do you want to sell it or do you want a loan?" I was like, I want to get it back, so give me a pawn it. And they're like, "We'll buy it from you for like this much money," and it was like a ridiculous amount more than I paid for it. When
Wow.
I almost took that deal, it was because I think they temporarily discontinued it or something,
Hmm.
and then I guess maybe the price just went up over the years. I'm not really sure what happened. Now, if I sell it, I can make something like $1,200 profit.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's insane. Sorry that was a long story, but I just thought that was so cool when I looked it up and I saw used versions of this guitar
Hmm.
for way more than I paid. Like I was blown away by. But yeah, that's my favorite guitar.
I have a question for you. On the back of your guitars, do you have
Mhm.
a sticker that looks like it's telling you not to put it in the trash can?
No.
I just realized that both of my guitars, my Washburn acoustic that I have, at first I was like, I wonder if people like confuse this with garbage and they accidentally throw it away.
I don't know
It's
what that's all about.
it's basically a symbol that says like do not put it in a garbage bin. And I'm like, does that mean my
Okay.
guitars are trash?
I don't
But
think I have like
Look at this.
I
This
think
one
I,
has it too. My Washburn
you
does.
know what? I weirdly think I'm gonna step away for a second. Professional podcasting. That's what I'm good at. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab a guitar just to check it. I think I have one guitar that has that. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Um, my eight string, my Schecter is
It does have one?
it has a little trash can on it.
Okay.
Uh,
Say not to do it. It's against
no,
trash.
no, it says throw this one away. It's just eight string guitars aren't cool anymore. Throw it away. I'm kidding.
I I think it's one of those things where it's like maybe most people take it off and I just never took the sticker
Well,
off.
mine's like it's like laser etched in there or something.
Oh.
Like I can't. Yeah, it
Are
says
people
crafted in South Korea, and then it says don't toss it. That's weird. I've never noticed that on a guitar before.
Yeah, I never noticed it either. I was just like I was trying to think of things to talk about um related to these guitars because I don't have a whole lot of like sentimental. I mean, these are just like inexpensive guitars that I bought
Hmm.
just to play.
Yeah,
Um, what's your dream guitar?
I guess like the narcissist in me, I'd like to collect different guitars like from my birth year. So I'd really
Okay.
like to have like an 1985 Les Paul, but that's getting pretty pricey. I mean, now we're talking like 8 grand, 10 grand. I don't think
Oh
I'd ever
yeah.
pay that much money. Even if I had the money, I don't think I'd ever pay that much for a guitar. If I did, I'd probably put it in a case on the wall, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I think the one that's attainable, still expensive, but I've always been interested is the Nashville B Bender. It's a Fender guitar.
Hmm.
That has this like really odd system where there's like a spring throughout the whole back of the neck that goes just to the B string. So actually your whole neck of your guitar is like a whammy bar just for the B string.
Wow.
It's a
That's very
really,
cool.
really weird thing, but there's a lot of like kind of I guess maybe like some country western blues type riffs and stuff where you're playing, I guess, with the scale, where
Mhm.
that's like a nice thing to have. Um, I don't know. I just think I've never had a Fender, like a proper Fender. So I was like, that'd be cool for the collection and be a little homage to my Nashville days. What about you? Like, do you have
Um, I
a
lately I've been looking at Telecasters and I like the way
mhm,
those look. I think I'd
yeah?
want ones though that have like humbuckers in them. I know they usually
No.
they don't, but I know they have some models that do. Or I guess you could mod it and put it in your own pickups. But
It just weirdly occurred to me that I could take these good pickups out and put them in my Les Paul. Um,
so
for my
so that's an eight string, huh? I
yeah, yeah.
do you, did you ever own a seven string? Or did you went straight
No,
from
I
six to
just
eight? That's
went
like
straight to it.
that's
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy.
And yeah, immediately I started like realizing how just my muscle memory with six just throws it off a little bit for eight. At first it did. And I'll say I just don't play it that much. I wrote like 3 songs. I wanted to have like an 8 string EP
Hmm.
just for the hell of it. But I played like my acoustic way more than anything else.
Does it sound like
Um,
super deep, like Sleep
yeah. Oh
Token?
yeah. Yeah, like that or even harder, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. It is fun to play. It is actually really fun to play. Um, even if you're just doing like really like kind of basic stuff, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's guttural and satisfying. Um, all right. Well, did we do a good job with the guitar segment, people? I think that was okay. It could have gone on for a whole episode. I was literally thinking about doing show and tell, and then I was like, I don't want to be that guitar asshole guy, like telling a story about
If
every
you have
guitar.
interesting gear, I think this is interesting. So
Maybe if we get one positive comment being like, "Oh, I like the guitar talk, bros," then I'll
we'll
do a part two.
revisit.
So in other words, we won't be doing a part two. That's like, hey Tremolo, making a trim appearance. What's up, friend? You want to sit here? Here, sit right there. Uh, so what else is going on in the world?
I heard Starliner uh was delayed again to July 2nd
Oh
to
wow,
so they
yeah, I
could
think
still
those
look into
people
those
just
heat
live
gates.
there now.
Yeah.
They're ISSers now.
I was thinking this would look really bad for Boeing if SpaceX had to like get him back.
Yeah, or if they just have to like they're like this thing is too volatile to be attached to the ISS, and they're just like they just kind of like kick it off, they shove it up, and they're like that was really a waste of money. Um, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna keep it up there and then like repair? Like I just don't think they can do that. I think it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's probably for the best that they take their time
Yeah,
with their track history. But
I bet those astronauts knew it too. They said when we go up there, we're gonna be up there for a long time.
yeah, it's gonna be like that year in space. What were the astronaut that did that? The twins.
Right? Yeah,
Mark Kelly. Is that, am I getting the names right?
I think that is right. Yeah.
I don't know. I only know one of them, Mark Kelly, and there's somebody else. Something
Let's
other
call
Kelly.
him.
Kelly
Let's
Kelly.
call him
Charlie
Kelly.
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 Uh, I don't know. Did you have any
I
other
saw.
space?
I saw kind of a cool thing. It hasn't happened yet, so I'm a little skeptical. But there's a Japanese startup that's making like little kind of CubeSat type satellites out of wood, which I thought, wow, what an interesting idea. It's all about so it burns up on reentry to
Oh,
like kind of mitigate the whole space junk problem.
oh, that's a good idea.
Pretty cool idea if it works, but it's like why hasn't someone done that yet? I don't think it's gonna work. Is it gonna burn up on the way up too?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It might.
I, I don't know, dude. But then again, I'm not an engineer. I just thought it sounded really creative. But also, I mean, it's like one of those ideas. It's like, why hasn't someone else done that?
Yeah, I was trying to think of other materials that they could use. My brain just went to like throwing a wiffle ball up in space. I was like, if it comes back down and lands on somebody, it won't hurt.
We'll make wiffle ball sats. uh, yeah. I mean, it also sounds pretty. When I'm thinking of like Japanese like joinery, have you ever seen like Japanese woodworking, where they like
I
make
don't.
these joints that require no nails and stuff, and they're like puzzle pieces, and they just put them together, and then they have this like super stable structure with no nuts, bolts, screws, nails.
Wow. No, I
It's
don't
just
think I've seen
really
that, but
it's very cool. It's very artistic. I mean, it is interesting how much the Japanese culture has infiltrated space and technology. You know, a lot of stuff like
mhm.
their like solar sails and things that expand out in space are just essentially origami. You know,
Oh yeah,
that's how they come up with the idea. So I don't know. I like what Japan's doing right now. Keep it up.
yeah. They have good
Um,
ideas. Sushi, um,
Sushi was a winner. Yeah. Uh,
sumo wrestling, I guess.
Pearl Harbor
Sumo
kind of
wrestling's
sucked.
yeah, that was
Eh,
not so great.
didn't like that one. Um, Sumo wrestling, I don't think it's that cool.
I don't
Otherwise,
think
I
it
think
is
other
either.
countries
I
would do
actually
it.
would. I might put it on one of those things that they should be embarrassed along with Pearl Harbor.
should we do a Japanese culture tier list?
It wouldn't be a bad
Nah.
idea.
Um, yeah, I want to pay attention to that wood satellite idea because it sounds kind of wacky, but I like wacky ideas sometimes. I don't have anything else space news.
Yeah, neither do I. What about politics?
Okay, so I saw that Louisiana is requiring the Ten Commandments in school,
I
which
heard about
seems
that
a
too.
little nuts to me. Well, not a little nuts, insane. That shit insane.
It seems
I don't
pretty on
know.
par though for Louisiana, I think.
Yeah, it's not surprising, but
Yeah.
it's like to me, it's like at the same level of like a don't say gay bill. Like, why would you be teaching kids about like, gay culture? Hey, shout out LGBT people, all our friends. I put that up for you. I support you. Um, I don't support the A's. I don't really support the. I mean, 2S. You're gonna have to prove to me that you matter. I've never met a 2S in my life. The A's, you have no business on the list. But the LGBTs, that's for you
This is
guys.
really
And
bad. This is
girls.
really bad, but I don't know what does that mean? Are those the asses?
Asexual.
Oh, I thought it was an ass. Okay.
Uh,
I don't like
yeah,
asses.
I'm not an ass.
It's like no, I was thinking like assholes. Like
Yeah. And also, I don't support the pluses because that would be us, and we don't really fit into that mold. You know, why would we be included? The
hmm,
asexuals and the pluses do not need to be in that little alphabet. But anyway, what was
yeah.
the point? I don't know. It just seems weird to me having like children exposed to things like thou shalt not covet your wife,
Yeah,
your
the adultery
neighbor's
stuff. I
wife,
was thinking that too.
and the murder is kind of a weird thing to put in kids' heads, especially when they think of like, school shootings is like kind of, I think in the consciousness of children nowadays. I don't know. Everything about that, I'm just like, it should be. I mean, obviously, a separation church and state, and also leave it up to the parents, and also don't implant really high concept, somewhat inappropriate things in children's brains. I mean, that's just
well, and
I
it's
wouldn't like
also,
that.
yeah, I think if you're going to be fair with this too, like you're picking a religion in this case
Right.
to promote with the public education system. I don't understand like why more Christians are like against Christian nationalism. I feel like this is a Christian nationalist type thing, right? Where they're trying to
Uh,
like push their stuff. Um, but yeah, it doesn't make sense because like if somebody else in the future that has a different religion, maybe he's a Scientologist or she is, or a Muslim, like what's stopping them from doing that? You're setting a precedence, you know?
yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I read it and immediately without it was like one of those stories where I read the headline and I had a fully formed opinion,
Yeah,
And then I read a little bit more just to see if I got it and was like, oh yeah, I do get it, and I think it's wrong.
yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately, Donald Trump was praising it
yeah.
because he's trying to. I mean, he's just catering to the
Well, he doesn't have
Christian
policy
nationalists.
positions, so he just jumps on those
Yeah.
those kind of like
Well,
uh
those are a big chunk of his voters too. Not all of them, but he
right,
get. I think he has the majority of like white evangelical voters. So
for sure. I wonder how many of them aren't sticking with him though, since he's not sticking with Pence. He
I
could
think a
have
lot. Yeah, that
he could have some drop off from that. They're like, oh, you were a faker, that you had Mike Pence and then you dropped him, and kind of tried to have him killed. Not really, but you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, Let me see. This isn't really politics, but I guess climate change sort of feels like it is politics. Everything is
Oh,
politics, but
climate change is
like,
very political.
I mean, here's the thing. I've never heard of this before. So if anyone's listening to this and you're like, climate change is a hoax, register this. Remember back in the day, well, not us Florida kids, but we've heard about it. We've seen the movies and TV shows. There used to be snow days. There's been increasingly less and less snow days, for the past couple decades.
Mhm.
And this year, for the first time ever, I heard of a heat day. I've never heard of that before. We had really crazy hot days in Florida. I never heard of them being like, no school today, it's too hot. That just happened though in Boston. They actually cut the school year short because they're like, it's too hot.
In Boston too.
You can just start your summer.
I feel like
Yeah.
that Boston's kind of north, so that's I know it
But
gets
that
hot
part
there.
of the
Yeah.
that whole part is like having a like I think that's the middle of the epicenter of the heat dome, you know?
Oh,
So I thought that was kind of interesting and also a little scary that we're normalizing heat days now. Have you ever heard of a heat day before?
no, I've never heard of a heat
I,
day.
I don't think they technically called it that, but they're like, it's too hot, school's canceled. And I was like, whoa, that's that's something to
Yeah.
look out for.
Uh,
And if you don't believe in climate change, uh, I think you're kind of a dummy. Um, it's pretty obvious. I guess it is all about human how we can how much we're part of the problem and how much we can do what we can do about it. That's the thing I hate about it is I'm sort of like, do you think we can get the whole world to agree on fixing this issue?
yeah.
How are you going to get China to play ball? How are you going to get India to play ball? How are you going to get our country to play ball? Half and half of us hate each other and disagree with everything. You think you're going to get half of Americans to be like, I'm going to start composting? Come on.
Yeah, I think the right's done a really good job of like getting people upset about like green policies and stuff
Hmm.
with the way they talk about like gas and stuff like being more expensive. I think
Yeah.
even when gas gets more expensive, I don't like it, but it's like adjusted for inflation, it's like really it's subsidized big time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's so cheap. Um, but I don't know where I was going with that. I just it seems like anything where I don't know why that's like a partisan issue, trying to get off like fossil fuels and
Probably just started with Ronald Reagan being a dick when he got in the White House and he said, "Take down those stupid solar panels on the
And that
roof."
became part of like the right's
I think that
identity.
I do think that was
Yeah,
actually the beginning of it in a weird way.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm sure there was actually a lot of dominoes that fell before that, but that's the first one I could think of where it was like a big kind of like FU to the previous administration's policy on the environment and also their attitude on the environment. Maybe not even the policy yet. That was sort of just like, hey, let's look at other solutions. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, those were the solar panels that Jimmy Carter put up, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I heard somebody try
Yeah,
to defend that, saying that the solar panels needed to be repaired and or something like that. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, I'm sure some of them do need to be repaired, but how does that line up like right when he takes office and he's like, "Get him out
yeah,
of here." Probably sounds like fake news. I don't know.
yeah. I think that it was a very like petty, spiteful kind of like, and they and it's also like what they always do. Let's just undercut the previous 4 to 8 years of progress this person tried to make.
Yeah.
So we never actually get better. Um,
Oh, I saw speaking of solar, I guess this isn't really solar though. I saw a Cybertruck. Made me think of
hmm.
Elon Musk. Um,
You saw
I,
one in real
I
life?
saw one in real life today,
Yeah.
in the neighborhood
Did
next
you
to
think
me. It looked
did you
real
think it was
stupid.
ugly?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it looked ugly when I saw
Yeah, it's
that
ugly
one.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one at the Kennedy rally, and I thought that it was cool. They were just flying a big flag and driving around, but I was like, it's kind of dumb. Buy a real truck, man. Like, oh, speaking of, I guess that's kind of Elon territory. Did you see that the Neuralink guy went on Joe Rogan's podcast?
No,
He
I
did the
didn't.
JR. He did
Was it
like
a
an
good
hour and a
episode?
half. And yeah, it was really interesting. He's also deserving of it. He seems like a thoughtful, like kind person. Um, and he seems like he has just a really good attitude about the whole thing, because
Yeah.
what's happened to him is like, they put these like threads, and then each thread is like 16 like diodes or something. Or not diodes, that's like LEDs, um, electrodes, but they're like these wires essentially. Tiny, like he said, they're smaller than a human hair. So it's like there's like 16 of these bundles of wires. I guess what he was saying is that the brain actually does move around a lot, flexes the same way our heart kind of pumps. The brain kind of like moves in a similar way. So a bunch of these threads started getting pulled out, and
Ooh.
he's like, damn, it's over. I just got a taste of it, how it's going to change my life. But his attitude about it is really great, and he talks about like the future of it. I would recommend it. It's a good episode.
Is he
His
okay
name's
right
like,
now? Is he able to still
oh
function
yeah,
with the?
he's fine. Like he's not like, it's not like he's gonna like lose his mind like a chimp and start ripping it out of his skull,
Yeah.
but he is like losing some of like the skills that he's been learning.
Oh,
Some is a couple steps back. So he's like, damn, I was so close. But he's the first man. So did we think it was gonna go perfectly? Uh, but no, it's a good episode.
yeah. I'll check it
Um,
out.
um, you know, I hate to be like pushy about books with you, but I want to do another read along, and I think we should do a summer read list or a summer book, whatever. Um, and I wanted you to choose one, but if you don't have one, I have an author, and then I'll give you three choices. Choose which one you think sounds best.
Okay.
Do you have anything in mind, like that you've been like, I kind of want to read that? Fiction, nonfiction, I'm into whatever.
Um, I don't have anything prepared right now.
Yeah.
Did you had a couple of things? I mean, I might be able to think of something though.
So like the Walter Isaacson, he's like my favorite biographer. He did the Steve Jobs book, which was excellent.
Hmm.
He did an Elon one. I kind of want to read it because like part of his thing is he's like, I need a lot of access. I'm gonna hang out with you a ton for years to write this book. So and he's very like fair. He's not like just like I'm just gonna suck Steve Jobs' dick to get this book written. He's like, no, I'm gonna show that he's an asshole, but a brilliant asshole. I
Right.
think it would be a very similar, interesting story with Elon, and maybe it'll humanize him a little bit, but also it's probably gonna show how crazy he is in good ways and bad. But so that's kind of on my list.
Is it
But
did it
then
already release or is it coming out soon?
yeah, it's been out for a few months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was gonna get it and put it on this summer reading list. The other one, if you want to do fiction, Noah Hawley, he made the Fargo show. He made a show called Legion. He made a few things that are really good on FX and stuff. He's written 3 books, and I think all 3 of them sound pretty interesting. One of them sounds sort of like Lost. It's about like a plane crash with some sole survivors, and then you get to explore all these like 11 people's backstory of what kind of maybe going on with some conspiracy with them. I'm like, that sounds kind of cool. And then one is called something else, something with my father, and it's like about a guy who's like it sounds a bit Manchurian Candidate. It's like a guy who's like a therapist, and and I think his like son is in a coma, but his son is like a political assassin, so he's trying to like work with his son to like be like, please don't kill the president. And then Anthem is his 3rd book, and I don't remember.
Oh, it just did a thumbs down. Discord's doing a thumbs down.
No, I haven't read it yet. I have no opinions, Discord. Anthem is supposed to be like, I mean, can we do this? Like, I'm undecided.
You weren't even doing a thumbs down, but it picked it up. I think the way you had your hands. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hold on. Does that look? I can't do the thing you were doing. What are you doing?
Oh, maybe if I do this and then I go like,
It's not
looks
working out.
weird. So I think Anthem sounded, it was like an apocalyptic world where it's like just this little group of like young people are trying to survive and figure out why the world ended. So there you go. 3 options for fiction and 1 option for a biography. Give it a thought. Send me your notes if you have a couple ideas, and we can read a book and talk about it.
Yeah. Right now,
Bring back.
the ones that you listed, I'm kind of leaning more to the Elon Musk thing because I think his story is interesting. But
Let's do that one then, because
yeah,
I love the way Walter Isaacson writes and stuff. I'll order it as soon as possible. What else is going on, dude?
um, I had one AI thing that I read about. Apparently, Facebook has been taking like pictures that photographers made that weren't made with AI and like putting a thing at the top saying made with AI, like on their social media pages, even though the
Yeah,
yeah, the people that made the photos or took the photos didn't use AI for it. I thought that
I
was
was I was kind of fucking around on X with that. I was taking pictures of just like for example, I had a scene like this where I had my cat here and I had like the lighting on cool and the lights up here, and I wrote out a thing that sounded like a prompt,
Mhm.
and I was like, wow, look what Sora just made,
Yeah.
just clickbaity stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm actually putting out misinformation. Just like that's actually bad. I stopped doing that, but at first I thought it was funny. Then I realized I'm not funny. uh,
I think you're funny.
yeah, sometimes I think I got like a 1, maybe 2 out of 10 um, average. I saw a funny thing. It's not really, I guess it's not really AI, but it is misinformation.
Mhm.
For now and then I say a word and I'm like, oh, I could talk about that. When China landed their little rover on the dark side of the moon, Chinese social media and state media blew up with these pictures where they're like, wow, look at our accomplishment. But it was actually just a NASA rover that we landed there like over a decade ago. And they just were like misattributing it, being like, look at our success. So I was like, did they actually do it? Why would that be like
Wow.
why
Yeah.
would that be trending? But then they showed other pictures and they said they had this like little rover tucked into it that kind of like went off, snapped a shot. So they had proof of it landing.
They were
I was like, huh.
reusing old images.
But they were reusing old NASA. Like,
Oh,
it was a little weird.
that was weird.
But it could have been, we talked about propaganda last week. It could have been something we put out just to be like, that's
Yeah.
our picture, Who knows? Everyone's playing games.
Yeah, it could have been a Pentagon controlled social media profile or something.
Yeah, I think, we were talking about how much we hate propaganda, but you really have to think about it like in terms of like, we're surrounded by it
Hmm.
on social media, on on CNN, on Fox News, from
Yeah.
the White House, from all the government agencies. I think it's overwhelming if we actually knew the full like scale of the propaganda campaigns that we have to fight with.
Yeah, we're you're spewing LGBT propaganda behind you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, down with the A's and down with the pluses. Two S's, you're on probation. I'm kidding. Um, okay, I want to say something that I think I haven't heard someone say yet, so I'm proud of this perspective I have. Um, Everyone who's watched the show before knows I'm a RFK Jr. supporter. But here's the thing that I think is actually one of the nails in the coffin that he might actually be able to use when he sues the FEC, or CNN or whatever. This actually makes no sense, and I thought about this once I was like looking at the ballot access, like the rules for each state.
Mhm.
This is bizarre, dude. Think about this. Because this debate should never happen in June, because they're not actually they're the presumptive nominees right
Right.
now, and it's a weird time. The other thing that's weird about it is that the window for petitioning for ballot access hasn't even opened in some states. That's a pretty weird thing to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, RFK Jr. he has a lot of pressure as an independent candidate to get on as many ballots as possible, right?
Right.
Well, because this thing is pushed back so far, he can't actually even get on Wisconsin, Rhode Island, Louisiana, or Washington D.C. Those four still haven't opened yet, and they actually the window is like it's sort of like around 7 weeks, and usually it's like mid-July to like the end of August.
Hmm.
So they push this debate back so far, it actually invalidates that, because you're like, wait, he can't have he doesn't even, it's not even open yet, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's just a weird kind of like a,
Are those, is that including the states that he's turned in signatures for that haven't certified it or
he
whatever yet? I heard
he's
several like that.
he had a bad strategy. I'll criticize him when I think he's wrong. He had a bad strategy in saying like, okay, well, we collected 4 times the amount of signatures required here to just make 100% certain, that we have as many as they need. But he said we're going to hold those back until like a very like kind of a strategic time, so that like they can't like be like, oh, these are all invalidated. But I'm like, I don't think that makes sense. I think you need to get like the timetable got pushed up, so I don't know why you held those back. And also, what is the reason that these states would fast track counting, like going over and throwing out the ballots? Because if someone's not registered to vote, if someone doesn't live in the state, there's a lot of reasons they can easily look it up and be like, this is not a real signature,
Yeah.
essentially. um, so they're like getting way more than they need just to be sure, but then they're like handing them in at these times, like where they're like, this way it'll just, so if you look at his ballot access map, it's like there's a ton of states where it's been turned in, but it hasn't been counted yet. They're just taking their sweet ass time,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably by design. But
When he,
but yeah, I just think that's weird, especially when it's DC. Like DC has its own weird stuff, with like
Mhm.
how when they decriminalize some drugs before anywhere else, and you're like, so the nation's capital gets a loophole, and none of us get a loophole. Same thing with the ballot acts. It's like, okay, so I know Rhode Island, Louisiana, Wisconsin. I guess Wisconsin might be more substantial, but I don't know how many votes that is. But like, and I think DC is only 3. But still, it's the logic of it where you're like, so he needs to get these things to qualify for a debate, but those windows are not even open yet, and they won't close until I think August 23rd is like the last time to
is
submit.
that past even the second debate? When is the second
No,
debate
that's
scheduled?
the second debate, which will not happen. I'm calling it now. September. It's like
Oh, okay.
September, mid-September. So yeah, he could qualify for that one ideally. He also did say a few days back before he didn't make the 27th debate. He said it looks like now the numbers will have everything we need by mid-July. I guess he's banking on the fact that he'll get that fourth 15% poll.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I just thought that was an interesting point.
When he was
To,
running as a Democrat, um, did he get any, was that before the primaries? Did he get any
yeah,
delegates? Okay, so he,
no,
gotcha.
yeah.
Not that they would count
It's
if
just
you switch parties, I guess, but I was just
right.
curious.
I think it's weird how little how Oliver Chase, the libertarian
Hmm.
candidate, I think it's a little odd how little recognition he gets. I mean, I talked about him to someone, and they're like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "He's a libertarian candidate. He's the gay guy, but he doesn't sound gay." Shout out LGBT, Oliver Chase, libertarians. He's like an Anderson Cooper gay. He's
Oh,
just like
okay.
he's a man. Yeah, he's like that. But
White
it
hair?
seems like
Does he have white hair and glasses or?
yeah, he works for CNN. He's an old man, part of the Vanderbilt family. He has a lot in common with Oliver Chase or Anderson Cooper. I messed it up. But yeah, he doesn't get any recognition. I read his policies. He's not. He seems like a smart guy, but it's like it's
Does he have any?
unrealistic.
Does he have any wacky? I mean,
Not really.
no.
I mean, just build your own roads, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's not wacky at all. And
I'm just joking around about libertarian shit. Um,
he's an
I mean, but yeah,
anarchist.
have you? I'm cool with that, dude. I really want to fucking take down this country. I'll be in a libertarian anarchist with him all day. I'll be in a relationship with him. If he wants, I will be his right hand man, his VP, and
ESP.
his husband. We don't kiss, we don't touch. I'll hug him. I'll rub his back. I'll pat him on the head. Say, "You did your best, buddy,
That
today," but I will not kiss him.
could be one of your rules.
All right, here. I want to be VP. I want to be your husband. Here's my list of demands.
I don't,
Never touch me.
I also,
Never touch me. Never
I
call
don't
me
want to be
babe.
referred to as your husband, a domestic partner.
That's gay. No. um, I like how this is. I'm glad I have this up. Makes me feel like I'm a little bit of an ally,
You know, I do
even
worry
though I'm.
about some of the things I said earlier, when we were joking about propaganda and the
Yeah.
transcript that's going to come through on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
We could go from like having like 15 views to having like 0 views on our videos. I don't know.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Every now and then, one of our short. It takes the pressure off. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's like this doesn't even matter anymore. We're just having a FaceTime call that somehow leaked its way on the internet, basically.
yeah,
Um, but no, I like that every now and then one of our shorts gets some people fired up,
yeah.
and they're always a dummy. Um, Promise everyone, our comment section episode is coming soon. It's gonna be great. I just want to maybe we should like
We got to
build up.
pick some first. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to pick some, and we should build up some more. So we need some more provocative moments and clips. Um,
I think
yeah,
yeah, we should also do that pros and cons of like Medicare for all and some controversial stuff um
yeah.
that usually people are either very pro or very against, you know. What's another thing besides healthcare? Um,
I don't want to talk about abortion. Um, I would talk about like decriminalizing all drugs and then reclassifying the less dangerous ones, the psychedelics and marijuana and stuff. Um, I would have a drug debate like that. I would also have a.
wasn't Biden doing something with marijuana? I thought I remember reading something about them trying
They
to
were
like
talking about it, but they
they haven't
haven't
done
done
anything.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. Maybe that's what I remember reading. That
yeah.
they're
It's it, it's
they're trying
it's
to
it's literally
reclassify it, but
every single time KGP goes on, she says, we're looking into this, and then it's just like that's the end of it. It's so weird how it's just, dude, what up with the way she's been saying cheap fakes about all these. She's calling all these video cheap fakes.
cheap
Have you
fakes.
seen this?
No, I don't think I have. Cheap
It's
fakes.
strange. So like the past like couple weeks have been pretty rough for the president. There was a really bad clip of him the Juneteenth party where he's just like he looks like Madame Tussauds
Are
Biden,
you talking
and
about? Are you talking about? Yeah, are you talking about at the church where?
everyone's dancing and stuff. He's next to Tyler Perry. Everyone's having a good time, but he's just like he's completely frozen. It's very
Oh, I
awkward.
saw that. Yeah, and I also saw Kamala and her husband doing the
Yeah,
like pointing to when they said you and she's pointing to God and she's
yeah,
pointing to Kamala.
yeah. Yeah,
I thought that
that
was
video
funny.
didn't happen. That video didn't happen according to the White House. Then later there was the video at the rally where um, Biden had the Mitch McConnell moment and he froze. This time he didn't freeze in a way where he's like having fun though. He just like went like this. He froze for like 8 or 9 seconds. I counted it. And to the point where did you see this
I
clip?
don't think I have.
Oh, it's so weird
I
because then
should.
Obama grabs his arm and he like leads him off stage. He like basically is like pushing him, like, come on, Joe, let's get you out of here, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty bad. But the White House says that didn't happen, even though it's on video. Then there was the video at the G7 summit where he wandered off. Everyone's taking the group picture and he wandered off. That video also is a cheap fake, according to the White House.
They're
They're
like they're
calling them
making their own deep fakes, but calling them cheap fakes now. As a
they're calling them cheap
I've
fakes
never heard of
because
that.
I think what they're doing is they're using cheap fakes because for maybe the uninitiated, you hear it and you're like, I've heard of these. These it's you've heard of deep fakes, but
Mhm.
but maybe some people watching like the news, they don't know what a deep fake is exactly. So they're like, oh, cheap fake isn't actually a lie. What they're saying is it's a cheap effort to mischaracterize and mischaracterize what you saw in the video. So they're saying they're clipped, they're cropped, there's things that have been edited, but you could find all three of those moments I just said. The whole video is online, and then you can see the ones the White House put out. The White House edited the videos. The White House edited the time that Barack Obama led him off stage. The White House edited the video
They're making
kind of a little bit of where he was walking over to the parachutist. And then yeah, they're saying it's just wild how like they're like you dumb Americans, whatever we say, you will believe it. But no, it's like it's so crazy, dude. You can watch those three behind the like three side by sides, and it's egregious to say those moments. And that's Corinne Jean Pierre's words. She said this did not happen. These are cheap fakes by you know GOP media and GOP influencers. It's not though. You can just look it
yeah,
up.
I've
It's
seen
not even a
I
conspiracy.
saw the one that you were talking about, the Juneteenth one.
Yeah,
Um
those all three of those
and
things
I didn't
happened.
even see it on a right wing news thing. It was just
No, it's just
it's
everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah, it's on every.
Yeah, it's so crazy though the way they think they could just like rewrite it, like I don't know, and also come up with this new term that's like kind of a softball version of a deep fake, being like, we're not going to say deep fake because that would be an out and out lie, but we can come up with this like new term,
I think
like
deep fake is very pretty dishonest. It's like the word
it
fake is in
is.
there. Yeah.
Fake is in it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why it is super dishonest. But I understand the strategy
Right.
where it's like there's almost like plausible deniability of like no, like we're not saying these are like you know they took his face and put it on someone else's face or it's we're saying it's just like it's kind of like misleading, but
Mm.
it's not. The videos in whole tell the whole story. He's had a couple Mitch McConnell moments lately. Mitch McConnell was out for like 15 seconds, so it's not that level. He didn't have like a stroke, but he is like kind of going in his own head for a little bit,
Yeah.
you know,
I
and
I'm definitely gonna.
sad to watch.
I'm curious to see how the debates go. Like even though I kind of don't want to watch them, I'm gonna watch them because I kind of want to see how.
I think I might just watch the clips, like
Yeah.
the like. I don't know if I could sit down and watch the whole thing with the whole entire backstory, the manipulation, and like the way they made a list of demands and they got everything they wanted. I don't like that, dude. It's just it's bad journalism. I mean, I'm disappointed in CNN. I'm disappointed in the White House for like the ones who are saying that the other guy is dangerous to democracy. Yeah, yeah. January 6th insurrections are bad for democracy. But what you're doing is you're not having free and fair elections. And most of the country wants that.
Yeah.
So I want to boycott it. But at the same time, I want to be a citizen journalist, pretend podcaster, and talk about it. So I don't know. I'm in a weird spot. I mean, I don't know what to do here. I'll watch it. I guess I'll watch it. What else are we going to talk about next Saturday?
Oh
It's
yeah,
on
it's gonna be
Thursday, I
the. Oh
think.
shoot, yeah. I didn't even make that connection.
Well,
It's next week.
that'll be next episode.
Yeah.
Next episode for sure. And dude, we should pull something out here so we can end the episode. The Biden Trump debate, we can end it with something lighthearted. Hopefully we get something lighthearted.
Like God
Watch
or
it come out. No, I don't want to talk about God again.
the Ten
I really hope
Commandments.
that I really hope that I pull this out and it's like debates or something. Okay. All right. You say when.
Now.
Hey, we did this one. We could talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Snowboarding. I mean, it's a little out of season, but Kevin and I did have a pretty epic day of snowboarding. And when I say that, that is not hyperbolic. It was no spoilers. We'll talk about it next week. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it sounds good.
maybe we'll show off our snowboarding gear.
We could do
Dress
that.
up, you know,
Yeah.
wear goggles. Goggles would be a good thumbnail at least. Put on
It'd be
beanies and
like the Apple
goggles in
Vision Pro
summer.
thing again.
Oh yeah, we did that. Damn, we've done everything already. Dude, we should hang it up. We've already done all this before.
We're just recycling stuff we did in previous seasons now.
Yeah. Man, we should do some tier lists. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I do actually want our last episode to be a tier list
Mhm.
where we just we rate all the tier lists we ever did. I really want to do that.
And then we reboot the series after a little bit. We'll come
Oh
back.
God, this sounds like hell. Oh my God, you're killing me, Kevin. I don't know. Where are we at on time right now?
We're at 49 minutes.
Let's call
Yeah,
it. This one's dead.
it's dead, Jim. Um,
Time of death. No, wait. That's when you bring him back. You look at your watch.
Yeah.
Time of death. 6:24 Mountain Time. All right, that was a good episode, wasn't it?
yeah, for sure.
No, I wasn't talking to you.
Oh.
I'm talking to the viewer who's still
Oh,
watching.
I'm watching it.
So,
I'm gonna
so
be a viewer.
viewer, if you like the episode, tell a friend about it. Tell them how it's better than you think it's gonna be, and also tell them, hey, give it a comment. We don't want you to subscribe or like it or whatever. If you don't, but you can give it a comment and be like, this was mediocre, or say, you dumb Biden supporters, Trump is the only path forward. That's a lot of our comments.
Yeah, you'd be like, you should rename your thing to center lane instead of the far left lane.
Yeah. Dummies. No, we love our commenters. So keep it up, far left laners. Yeah, let's call the episode, dude.
All right. Cheers,
Peace out,
everyone.
everyone.